This is a tour of WebMic to show you the functionality of different aspects of this program. You enter the program just clicking the arrow, and once you enter the program, the first thing you will see is a reference image here that's rectangular with tabs above it in which you can increase the magnification. And when you increase the magnification, always the circle, what is in the circle, is magnified over here by 4 times. So if you're at 5x here, you're going to be at 20x over here. And if you're at 40x here, you're going to be at 160x here. So the specimen's always the name of the specimen is up shown up here in bold white text or font, and the stain is also shown here, hematoxin eosin, and indicates what color the nuclei are and what color the cytoplasm, whether it be acidophilic structures or basophilic structures. To navigate to any specimen, you simply click on the tab up here at the top. Notice that all across the top we have these menu tabs. So we're going to click on Navigate, and the first one, you can open these folders and find any specimen. Let's say we wanted to study skin, or your lab manual said choose the skin and appendages folder, and then choose thin skin, hematoxin eosin, and you see it's in organ histology, and then you have all these tabs to study the skin. Okay, so let's say you wanted to see this in a remove the large circle. You just use the tab and remove the screen like that, and you can also refresh the specimen if somehow it's not showing up right. You can print the specimen and right click on it, or some routine, maybe in the Macintosh it's different, but I use PC, so I right click and copy the image or save the image to my hard drive, or copy and paste it into a Word document. The print image always shows up into a new tab, so you can close that tab and go back to the program. Okay, so let's put the circle back. It's a mask, and you see when we move the circle down here, it's actually looking throughout this entire specimen and showing you the magnification up here. Let's choose this magnification, 40x, looking at the epidermis, which is the superficial part of the skin. And the next thing you can do is you click on the toolbox, and so we have tools in order to facilitate the study. The first thing you can do is show the labels, and now things are labeled. And I think I shall remove the mask, and now we can see that you have some labels that are colored and some are not. If it's got a white background, there's no text related to it. If it has a highlighted in the background, then you can read online directly a description of this particular cell. This particular cell is and then you click it. So the keratinocyte, you can read all about it here. Okay, so you can also turn this into a very simple quiz by identification of labels. Again, if you click on the question mark, it immediately gives you the correct answer. And here you get the correct answer, and you click another time, you get an explanation, just like you did when you were in the study mode. So we can click all these off, but once you do all of them, you can click on identify all the labels, and go back over the quiz again and draw yourself as many times as you want to. Now we're going to skip over the measure and go to another quiz form. First of all, turn the labels off, and then open up this tab, or this drop-down menu, and you have a label quiz, but it's different than the first one because when you click on the question mark, you get a list of all the structures in that specimen, and so it's like a multiple choice quiz. And so we're looking at the stratum corneum, so I'm going to get it correct right off, and so it turns green. But if I click here and I call that stratum corneum, then I called it stratum spinosum, so that's incorrect. The other thing is you just go through all of these, and I got that one correct, and here I'll choose this one, and it's a stratum granulosus. That's incorrect, but it's a stratum spinosum cell. No, it's not that one. It's a nucleus of, let's see which nucleus it is. So this is actually a whole cell. This is keratinocytes. You see, it turns green. So once you go through everything, you can move it around to make sure that you are looking at everything. And some of these that are over on the side here, you want to make sure that you move the specimen over so that the multiple choice will be plainly visible. And so on this one, I got it incorrect. And this is a stratum spinosum cell. You see, so you can see a record down here of the incorrect choices and the correct choices. And when you're finished, you can get an evaluation which shows all of the ones you got correct as well as the ones that at least did not get correct finally. It still remains red. And you can see a summary which gives you how many you got correct out of your choices. So we go back here and we can close this quiz and open up and turn the labels off. And then we can measure. First of all, you can bring up a grid, and the grid will stay stationary, and you can move the specimen behind the grid, and you can center, let's center this nucleus. And the grid at this magnification of 40 times 4, 168, it's 12 microns per centimeter, and this is a centimeter measurement here. So 12 times 12, the area in this would be 144 square micrometers. We can turn the grid off, and then we can measure items. We can measure that nucleus. We'll put these two red dots on either side of the nucleus and measure as close as we can. It's about 11 micrometers. And also here, this shows the position of the image as well as the mouse position. You see when I move the mouse around, it shows me exactly where I am. That's not really that helpful. The measuring tool is the most helpful, and there'll probably be some exercises in a course you might take in histology which will require you to measure structures. Okay, so we're going to click the measure tool off and hide the toolbox. And I encourage you to read, the credits for this program, as well as read the paragraph about the virtual microscope. And you can copy these, paste them into a Word document, put them on your computer. Same for tissue histology and organ histology. And the last item was very helpful. You can walk you through the preparation of tissues for routine light microscopy, for special preparation using frozen sections, and for electron microscopy. And the way that works is you've got these frames. You see you can go from 1 to 17 frames learning about how tissue is prepared for light microscopy. And you click on the hyperlink text fixation, so it shows tissue here in the bottom of this fixative, and shows what it looks like in bedding and sectioning and staining. So this is kind of an overview, and then as you go deeper, you will learn more about the fixative, and you will learn how the tissue is taken through a series of alcohols and clearing solutions embedded in paraffin. And then finally, you get to see a video. There are a number of videos. So you've got 17 frames to go through, and by the time you get through that, you should be pretty familiar with how tissue is prepared for light microscopy. The same is true for learning how tissue samples are frozen, and then in a special microtome that is kept at very low temperature, the tissue is sectioned. And then for electron microscopy. And so always you click on the hyperlink text and then walk through the frames. Okay, so that's about it. Remember that I don't think we demonstrated the search function. So let's say you're in a course in histology and you have studied muscle and you wanted to go back and find all the specimens that are muscle. If you just type in the first three letters, the first three letters of muscle, then you have these specimens. You can click on any one of them and go right to that specimen and study it. So that's a quick way of going back and finding structures. As long as you know the several letters in that specimen, usually like epithelium, EPI, muscle, cartilage, CAR, etc., etc. So I think that about wraps it up, and I'm going to go back to the navigation and close that window, and then we'll go back to the actual starter page. And I trust that this video has helped orient you to the use of WebMic.